Jonathan and I just kept asking ourselves, what's the story here? What's the story? We love this character, but what's the story we want to build around this character? And that's when, after years of exploration, we were reading this one book about the history of Savile Row, and we found this single sentence that mentioned that the first bug in the history of the FBI, the first bug in FBI history, was planted inside a tailor shop in Chicago, Illinois in 1956. And we instantly looked at each other and we said, oh, well, that's a movie. When we started writing the script, something we were always fascinated by was the psychology of people who spend their entire lives perfecting the art of something so esoteric that most people cannot even tell they're experts at it. Someone like Leonard, played by Mark Rylance, someone who is such an expert at what he does. He makes these beautiful things, and no one, even the people he makes them for, don't even totally realize why they're so good. He's that good at it. There's a loneliness to that. And there's something about the psychology of that, of someone who devotes his life to something that esoteric and that specific, and to be one of the best in the world at this extremely specific thing is such a fascinating psychology to me. And I think that's what initially drew me to the story in the first place. Before we had a story, before we knew there were gangsters, before we knew there were guns and blood and the kind of thriller we have here, we had this character of Leonard. It all started with this character. We loved the idea of the 50s as this period, like the last gasp of this beautiful culture that happened before fashion took over. It was also a really interesting period in terms of the gangland history of the time. Once Jonathan McClain and I started digging into the gangland history of 50s Chicago, it was instantly captivating to us because as America was going through profound changes, so was the underworld. The outfit is in many ways a chess match between all of these different characters. And what's helped in that is there are not too many characters in this film. There's only 7 speaking parts in the entire film. So every character gets quite a bit of screen time. And more than that, every character gets quite a bit of listening time. As we're making the film, something we find a lot is that the story is not on the character who's speaking, it's on the character who's listening and trying to decide, am I being lied to or not? If I'm being lied to, do I need to kill this person? That's where the story is. And there's something so inherently cinematic about that. It's set in a small space with a small cast, but yet it feels so inherently cinematic to me because those looks between the characters, someone looking very closely at someone else from just inches away and saying, are you lying to me? Do I have to kill you now? You can't do that on stage in a piece of theater. You cannot get that close. Very early on in writing the script, Jonathan and I said to each other, what if the entire film takes place inside the tailor shop? What if we never leave? And like everything we do, it was an experiment. It was, let's do a draft where we never leave the shop. How does that feel? And what we quickly found was that something that might seem constraining opened the world up to us. Because we knew that it would... What we found is that staying inside the shop is not a kind of narrative conceit, but rather it's staying with our main character. It's staying with Leonard. Leonard never leaves the shop, so neither do we. It just gets us inside his head. We don't see anything he doesn't see. We don't hear anything he doesn't hear. We don't go anywhere he doesn't go. The whole story takes place over about 48 hours in the life of the shop, and he never leaves the shop the entire time we're there. So neither does our camera. Neither does our story. What that means, I think, in a really exciting way is that when new characters enter, when Roy Boyle enters, when Violet LaFontaine enters, they're coming in from another movie that has taken place off screen. And we get to find fun ways of bringing that movie in with them, to sort of showing their whole history, their whole story as they enter. Who is this person? Who is this person? Where have they been? who have they murdered? You know, what is the off-screen war that is happening between these different crime families that we sort of see glimpses of as they enter the shop. The Outfit is a film about detail. It is a film about a character obsessed with detail. Leonard is obsessed with detail, so is our camera, so is our filmmaking process. That means having an amazing tailor on set every day to correct every single detail of what would be on every shelf of every single movement of Leonard's hands. It means that Mark Rylance has spent a ton of time with a tailor training and studying and making sure every movement is exactly right. So that our camera can get that close, so that we can see how detailed the work is. In a way, because we can't, the Outfit does not have massive vistas of photographic space. We don't have big sunsets over the city skyline. We don't have, the Outfit is not Lawrence of Arabia. We don't have these kind of massive deserts. What we have is this extremely detailed work that Leonard performs. So it was really crucial to us to have an expert tailor on hand, to work with a shop like Huntsman on making sure this place feels exactly real down to every last nook and cranny. The Outfit is a film about clothing, which means that the clothing of each character tells you a lot about them. And moreover, the clothing of some characters tells you about other characters, because Leonard, our main character, has made the suits that a lot of the other men in the film are wearing. So what they're wearing doesn't just tell us about them, it tells us something about Leonard. How good is he? This is how good he is. That's why it was terribly important. And it's because the suits were so important and because the suits were built in the story of our film that we wanted to have Huntsman make them for us, that we wanted to, we are saying in the story of the Outfit that these suits are built by one of the best suit makers in the world. So the only way to achieve that is to have some of the best suit makers in the world, like we find at Huntsman, build them for us. In the Outfit, we never see where characters live. We never go home with them. We only see what they do and how they act in this shop, which means what they're wearing when they enter the shop tells us so much about them. So the detail work that our designers, Sophie O'Neill and Zach Posen, have been able to put into designing every costume is just tremendous. Especially because there are not a lot of costumes. Every character only wears a couple, so every single detail matters in the costumes as in everything else in this film. The Outfit is a real criminal organization that really existed in mid-century America. It is, in real life, the Outfit was this kind of super network of criminal organizations from different parts of the country who kind of united to form, as we say in the film, a kind of United Nations of crime. And so people could operate independently in different cities. Different gangs could operate independently, but they were still part of this overarching network. It's funny when we talk about the Outfit because people keep saying to me, "Oh, you must have made that up. That bit of it's a movie about a tailor, and so there's this crime organization called the Outfit. You must have invented that." I always have to say, "No, that's real. That was just there. We took that from real life." But the Outfit, in the story of the Outfit, remains this shadowy organization that's always out off screen. We never see them. We hear about them. We hear about things they're doing. We hear about things they might be doing. We hear characters strategize about what the Outfit might be doing off screen, but we never see them. And I think that's important to us thematically. Our DP, Dick Pope, reminds me of Leonard, our main character, in a lot of ways. These two sort of expert craftsmen who do this extremely technically complicated thing that most people only kind of understand. When I watch the best of Dick's lighting, I only half understand how he's able to achieve it. I can see how brilliant it is, and I can say, oh, that's beautiful. But I will never understand the true depth of what it takes to be able to create the effects that he does on screen. We had a very fluid process in the prep of the Outfit, where every department got to kind of work with each other. We got to say, this is how we want to shoot it. Can we design a space to be shot that way? I could say to Gemma Jackson, our production designer, this is how I want to move the actors. Can we put a doorway over there so I can move them in that direction? Or she could say, well, if you move the doorway over here, how does that change how they're moving? And the same obtained with the camera work. It was all this kind of fluid process of designing a space that would work for camera, designing camera movements that would work for the space. We knew that the aesthetics of the outfit had to reflect the aesthetics of its main character, which meant that the aesthetics were precise, meticulous, beautiful, elegant, and just perfect. And then viciously violent on top of that, once our gangsters start coming in. But what that meant was having expert craftsmen like Dick Pope, like Gemma Jackson, like our editor Billy Goldenberg, behind us in doing this. The Outfit is a film that is not intended to be watched once. It's a film that's intended to be watched 3 times. There are twists and there are turns, and every time you think you figured out when someone is lying to you and when they are telling the truth, you will find out 10 minutes later that you were wrong. And that means that we got to build in lots of fun little Easter eggs and clues to the eventual twists throughout the film. It was really fun to set something up where I think the audience of The Outfit spends a lot of time going, what? You think you know what's going on, but maybe you're wrong, and you're trying to figure it out. And that kind of mystery of who's lying to who runs through the entire film, and that's part of our ever-increasing sense of tension for the film. So it was lovely to plant lots of little clues in there that hopefully no one catches on the first time, where they watch it again and go, oh, that's when they were lying about the thing and the other thing, which should hopefully create an experience of watching The Outfit that is not just watchable, but endlessly rewatchable. I think The Outfit is a uniquely cinematic experience because it is a white-knuckle thriller. It is not something you want to experience where you're looking away or you're being pulled away. It's an experience The Outfit is an experience that we want to create for the audience, where they're gripping the edge of their seats in a movie theater and they cannot let go.
Great behind the scenes we have here from Focus Features, the movie The Outfit, and it looks phenomenal, directed and co-written by Graham Moore. And it's really cool to see what they were able to do in the pre-production stage with the screenwriting and messing with the story. And by containing the story in one place, they were able to use their limits to their advantage with storytelling and everything like that. Sometimes holding back and having your limits be up front and actually be the forefront of your story is a very, very good way of making the most out of your story and making the most out of your film. So sometimes it's good to look in and lean into your limits. Let me know down in the comments down below if you've ever run into any kind of limitations in art or anything like that. And did you get to see The Outfit? Let me know down in the comments down below. I think the movie is really phenomenal. Thriller, has this mafia type mob stuff going on, edge to it, you know? So let me know down in the comments down below if this interests you, if you like more making ofs and behind the scenes. Go ahead and check out my playlist here and check out my new filmmaking video right here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and I'll see you here next time. Later.